eye on the transition in Senegal, 4 months after President Diomaye Faye assumed office. Senegal's new president, President Faye, has been making the job of settling down look relatively easy, albeit in a region where political transition keeps proving a Herculean task after every election. After his inauguration earlier this year, President Faye wasted little time in initiating reforms in some of the key areas of national life, including agroeconomy and mining, and continues to pursue a foreign policy that could potentially unlock the country's capacity to improve its gross domestic production. Challenges remain, though, especially with the need to create a national boss that can promote unity and cohesion. Boubacar is a TV producer and political analyst in Senegal. He joins me now to look at the transition process in Senegal. Good to have you, Mr. Ndo, on This Day Live, and welcome to Nigeria.
Thank you for having me, and I say hello to all the country.
Okay, first let me ask you, is this the first time you've been to Nigeria, and how is it going? Are you enjoying the,
Yeah, it's not the first time. I haven't been here for a long time, but I've been here a few times, and in Abuja too. But of course, every time I come here, I enjoy it. It's very lively. It's a very interesting country, so I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, Mr. Ando, let me talk about the democratic transition in Senegal. When President Faye, youngest elected head of state in Africa, assumed office in April, with all that issue with the Macky Sall administration, everybody said, oh, this sends a positive message about democratic transition in Africa. How has it been since then? Is President Faye keeping his promises? How are the people responding? Have they been disappointed? Because in some of these African countries, a few months down the line, the people will start saying, this president just promised, he's not delivering. How has it been with him?
Well, thank you for the question. I think, first of all, it might be too early to really say if he has kept his promises or not, because he's only been here in office for 4 months. But what we have noticed is, of course, the reality of being in power is so different from when you're outside. Like they say in English, the grass seems always greener from the other side of the fence. So I think being in power, there are other realities, but I think they're on their way to try to deliver all the big promises they made, especially to the youth, which is job creation, fighting corruption, and I think the Macky Sall era is behind now, and now people are looking to see if these guys, with all these unprecedented promises made and to this country, and almost the whole country was behind these guys. Even being in jail, people were ready to put them in office. I think from the time they came out of the prison and be elected to president, it's been maybe 15 days, just to tell you how people were motivated to put these guys in power. Now that they're ruling the country, I think the expectations are really, really high. And like I said, it will be difficult for them to fulfill all the promises, but people are hoping that they actually do a lot against corruption and then review all the big major mining and big contracts from Senegal to the rest of the world. And I think these are things that people are expecting.
Well, yeah, it's good we are talking about policies, corruption reform, oil and gas mining contracts reform. Another thing he talked about before he assumed office was economic sovereignty. He was going to do away with the CFA because he says for you to have real sovereignty, you must have economic sovereignty. Has the needle moved in any direction since he assumed office?
I still believe that those were campaign promises that are not easy to fulfill, because everybody knows that the CFA is something that all these people have been talking about for a long time. But I think if they don't have the right backing, it would be difficult for a single country in West Africa to wake up and say, okay, we're going to kick out the CFA and then bring our own. I think we are not strong enough. And since they came into office, that actually speech has kind of died down a little bit. I think they're talking less about it. They realize that it requires the effort of all the surrounding countries against France to push them to really make those major changes that I think is in a lot of young Africans' head, but to make it reality, it will take a long time. It's a starting of a process, but I don't think it's something easy that they can achieve really quick.
Okay, I mean, President Faye would not have been there without Usman Sunko. Mm-hmm. You remember the suspension of PASTEF, the political party, and then the prison to presidency narrative. And now Usman Sunko is Prime Minister. The fear, across the region is that Usman Sunko, as a godfather, will wield unusual influence. You are on the ground in Senegal. How do you read the relationship between President Faye and
something is for sure.
Prime Minister Sonko?
If it wasn't for Usman Sunko, of course, Diomaye Faye would never be president, actually, for now. So I always recall that the slogan that they use on the campaign is Diomaye is Sonko, Sonko is Diomaye.
Yes, that's
so
true.
I think that was he was elected based on that campaign. So now, of course, power. When you come into power, everybody expects for things to blow up. But I think they're trying to reassure people that the connection that they have is deeper than just their individual aspirations. And they always defended that personally, physically, they're not important. They always put in front a project, what they so-call the project, is the idea that they have to really develop this country. So as long as they have that as a priority, I think the personal egos could actually survive. So people are hoping that it won't happen to Senegal. But based on the connection that they have, I think it would be very difficult for them to not see things the same way. They're really connected for now. And they made the promise. The president had a great big interview with local press, and he assured everybody that if people were waiting for them to split up or to have problems, they will wait for a long time, because what united them is deeper than just power. It's more like in the principle, and they have mutual respect for each other. And this is something really, really deep that people will live to see.
Okay, one of the issues we had in that election that people talked about was the role of the young people of Senegal. 71% of the 7.4 million population of voters were young people under the age of 35. Yeah. Will you say that 4 months down the line, the young people of Senegal are already having certain doubts about President Faye, who falls within their demographics?
Well, I think it will be too early to set to call it disappointment. I think the expectations are really high, and hopefully these guys are aware of that. But I think they're still very popular among the youth, and maybe this is one of the reasons why the new president last week has decided to dissolve a lot of the big institutions that he has the power to do. And then he's looking at Parliament to really maybe anticipate some elections, so they have more power to really do what they want to do. But for now, the President Macky Sall's coalition is still leading in the Parliament, which is not going to make it easy for them to really in terms of budget and all policies, to make sure that what they want to do, they will do. So I think they trying to rush to take out the Parliament so they can have new elections, thinking that what elected President Diomaye Faye will be the case in the parliament, then they would really have the power to do what they think they can do for the country.
Okay, you are in the same constituency.
Yeah.
You are a TV producer.
Yeah.
You are a public affairs analyst.
Yes.
I understand that there is still media repression in Senegal, inherited, continued from the Macky Sall administration. How serious is that?
To be honest,
Senegal?
I think we are very lucky in Senegal. If I cannot be sitting here and saying that you don't have freedom of speech. Me, myself, I'm one of the people that is very engaged in the political debate, and I can tell you that whatever I want to say, of course, I'm not going to break the law, but people are free to speak their mind, and I don't think we can find that liberty in a lot of African countries, to be honest. It's never enough, but I hope that these guys will make sure we go even beyond letting journalists speak their mind, and I think it's a big challenge for this government because of the backing that they have. They're very present in social media, very reactive, responding to all kind of attacks or whatever. If you speak your mind, you'll get yourself you'll get a whole thing in the social media fighting you. So it's a big challenge for this government. But honestly, in Senegal, I think the press, I mean, there's never enough, but we cannot be sitting in Africa and saying that we cannot speak our mind, or the journalists are stopped by the government from speaking what they.
Okay, you are saying the situation in Senegal is relatively better within that coup belt compared to what you have in Mali, what you have in Burkina Faso, what you have in Niger.
Even beyond those countries. I'm not even, because it was the same case before these new military guys took power. I think just generally, Senegal is one of those countries that people kind of have a lot of things. I always say it, a lot of things that I say on TV in Senegal, if it was in another country, I'll be probably sitting in a jail cell. So honestly, we have gone a long way. Now it's never enough, and the civil society is very active and making sure that that freedom of speech, of just thinking, stays intact or even is improved by this new government.
Okay, 4 months after, with all the anxieties about how one of the most enduring democracies in Africa was going to implode because of Macky Sall's machinations and the parliament misbehaving. Okay, Senegal survived it, turned the corner. What will you say 4 months after are the significant lessons that the rest of Africa can learn from the example of Senegal?
Power to the people. I think the people have to make sure that they retain power, regardless. If you can put somebody in office 15 days after he's out of jail, that means the people have the power to overturn everything. So, and I hope everybody is aware of that in Senegal, they will make a decision when they have to. So don't push them to that limit. And I think one of the facts that pushed President Macky Sall to reconsider maybe his appetite to run for a third term was that he knew that the people were going to be on his way. And I think that's one thing that a lot of the African countries should really inspire from Senegal, is that the people have to stand up for what they own. It means they're the ones that choose whoever is going to lead them. And I think the particularity of Senegal is that we've had for the last maybe 20 years about 3 different alternance, like they say it in French, change of governments and systems. And this is even more dramatic because this is a real change, because you have new people coming in, and all these old traditional politicians that have been involved in running public affairs for the last 20 years are stepping out. They're cleaning out everybody to make sure they bring new people and a new energy. And I think it's a dramatic change for Senegalese democracy.
Okay, final question. It's about capacity. One of the issues we raised at this table when we had the Senegal election was, President Bashir Diomaye Faye is very young, and on top of it, he has 2 wives, and he publicly advertises the fact. So the concern here was that will we have enough capacity, considering the fact that he even used to be a tax inspector? How will he deal with the big issues? Now, in terms of capacity, what is the public perception?
Well, I think we all have doubts about. I don't think it has nothing to do with him being having 2 wives. I don't think because inside the government of Senegal, we had a lot of people that think that's part of life in Senegal, and I think that has nothing to do with the capability of running a country. But again, from what we see, is that he looks like a person that learns really quick. And this way, for me, the advice would be not to throw everything in the garbage. Look at the people that have experience, that have been here, and surround yourself with the right people to actually fulfill all those empty gaps that you might have as somebody that has never really run a big organization. It's a big issue, but hopefully how you surround yourself will help you go through that maneuver. And I haven't seen that a lot because, like I said, when you come in and you think maybe everything is bad, that's a big mistake. I mean, you have bad and good. So make sure you find the good, experienced people. Surround yourself with people that can actually give you the good advice, people that have experience, that have traveled. And you see a few things that make you worry about the inexperience. And I think, again, with 4 months later, you can give him the benefit of the doubt, thinking that these guys can learn and can actually improve how they run this country.
Okay, on that note, Mr. Boubacar, I would like to thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
For joining us on this Live Day Sunday Talk Show, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay.
Oh yeah, thank you for the hospitality. I don't even want to go back, but unfortunately I have to.
Thank you very much.